Go drop like rain, nigga, watch me hit those trees. Alright, here we go. Naruto has more than his fair share of amazing fights and is often praised for its hand-to-hand combat and strategy, often executed with amazing artistic vision, giving us battles that snatch and hold our attention that we still talk about 2 decades later. And even the fights that don't make that list still get attention here and there. But a handful of skirmishes that take place, at least for me, miss the bar by so much I forget the outcome of the fight or that it even happened at all. So here are some fights that massively disappoint me, and I arranged them in a list because I know you like lists. So, 5 most disappointing fights in OG Naruto. Let's go. Number 5, Shikamaru vs. Tamari. Every time I get to this point in the Chunin exams, I go, okay, Naruto beat Neji, Kankuro forfeits his match, so obviously the next match is Sasuke and Gaara. But no, I get a stupid look on my face every time I realize there's a whole nother fight I have to get through that I wasn't anticipating. And then when I sit down and actually watch the thing, I'm reminded of the light speed scuffle Tenten had and how strong that wind was, and just how aggressive Tamari was shown to fight. And I think, well, where is any of that now? And sure, she knows Shikamaru is smartish, I guess, but they try and act like she's also a strategist here, and instead of actually strategizing anything, she stays on her back foot and plays defense while Shikamaru literally has his eyes closed. And then he dog walks her into a trap that could have been easy for her to spot or at least keep an eye on if we're running with the strategist thing, and not once does she attempt to use her wind in a meaningful way, nor does she use the riding fan trick, which, if I'm not mistaken, would have made shadow possession a non-factor since Shikamaru can't possess an inanimate object, I think. But either way, even if all that's fixed and shelved, you still get Shikamaru quitting, which, I get it, it's on brand, but it's just so lackluster in the uphill position it was placed in. But because the stakes are so low in this one, it gets last place. Kiba versus Sakon and Yukon. I was not, am not, and will never be anticipating this fight. Like, I never want to see it. It's the most bland battle of the most mediocre characters, and Kankuro comes in with a third-party kill that would make the most seasoned Fortnite player rage quit. And here's the thing. Even though Kiba had basically lost and was dead to rights, it not once felt like anything significant would happen, even involving the most insignificant of characters. And Kiba might as well have hopped in the puppet with Sakon and Yukon because he does nothing but B for the rest of the series. And they even pair him up with the cat ninja lady, and the cat ninja kid in Boruto isn't even related to him. What kind of sick game are we playing right now? I think this is 3? Whatever. Sasuke versus Gaara. I really only say this was disappointing because it had been hyped up so much, and then what we got was basically a glorified slapbox before Naruto jumps in the ring and decides to make it a real fight. And just for the sake of saying it, it feels weird that a seemingly weaker, slower, and less tactical Naruto would do better against a powered-up Gaara. And yeah, I know the curse mark was hindering Sasuke and he couldn't use his Sharingan, but he could still use chakra in general, and Naruto didn't need a Sharingan, nor did he have his Chidori counterpart, the Rasengan, so I always felt like Sasuke was kind of dicking around and acting a bit out of character here. And for the sake of the story it works, but he had this same existential crisis 2 or 3 arcs ago in the Land of Waves, so this one is just iffy for me, I guess. 2. Naruto vs. Kiba. This one is on me. This fight was disappointing because I had my hopes too high. I mean, I really don't know what I thought I was gonna see, but the fart, I mean, come on. It's funny adjacent and kinda makes sense, I guess, but if you're telling me Kiba was born with his nose that sensitive or he trained it to be, either way, you're telling me he never encountered a foul smell? And let's say he didn't. As a matter of fact, let's say the fart didn't even happen. Put side by side with any other fight in the preliminaries, this one is constantly wearing a red nose and comically large shoes, cause it's the only fight played in such a non-serious manner. All the tension comes from whether or not Naruto will win, but because he's the main character, it's hard to believe he'll lose. And I didn't want to have to do this, but you look like you aren't convinced, so I'll swap out Naruto's MC status for his squad mates in their respective fights. Sasuke first. He's the MC now, so it's doubtful he'll lose. But even if he wins, he has other things going on that cause that tension to show, like the curse mark and the fact that the guy who gave it to him is in the room watching unabated. So not only are you worried about the fight that he's already at a disadvantage in, you have at least two other problems so that when he does win, it doesn't feel like, oh, well, that's it, we can just pack it up and go home because we know he won. And even on Sakura's side, she wasn't at a disadvantage, nor did she have outside factors play into her fight, but the emotion and growth she goes through fills those gaps. When Naruto beat Kiba, it wasn't like him and Kiba were close, it didn't feel like he was a better fighter, and on top of that, before and after this match, he uses the most obscure transformation yet, exposition trash can. And one last thing, the Uzumaki Barrage looks cool, but the fact that he stole the move from Sasuke, who we just saw use it for the first time, took away even more shine from me. Like at that point, he should have just won with an old-fashioned punch to the face. Number 1, Sasuke versus Naruto. Yeah, I'm back on it. And I'll fertilize this hill with my bones before I ever accept defeat. Naruto should have won this battle. He was stronger, faster, and had better jutsu with almost unlimited chakra at his disposal. And you're not going to convince me for 1 second that Sasuke didn't get buffed to the max for the plot, because even with the curse mark, there's no way a base Sharingan is giving you the ability to go toe-to-toe with the strongest Jinchuriki with an amp stronger than the last fight you saw Naruto have, which literally had you shaking in your sandals right after you got out of the hospital. And the rooftop fight perfectly summed up why you would lose in the slight scuffle you had what seems to be a few days at the most, and at the very least a few hours ago. But seriously, part 1 was kind of wonky. I mean, this fight where neither participant dies seems way more advanced in terms of power to the fight Orochimaru had with the third Hokage. But I'll cut it right there. You got things to do, and I don't really know how to end this one. So, until next time, peace.
That thunder on me clap, make a nigga think before he act. Have a nigga dying on his back, then we double back. Shooters leaving rubber where you at. That's why niggas never wanna match.